गुड मॉर्निंग एंड वेलकम टू गना शॉट। गना शॉट में आप सबका स्वागत है। टुडे वी गोना टॉक अबाउट पाकिस्तान, द मेंटली सिक मैन ऑफ साउथ एशिया. Let me put it at the outset. This is not a pun. This is not in anger. This is not in some kind of a thing that look, because I'm an Indian, I'm talking of Pakistan as a mentally sick nation. This is what Pakistanis themselves say. Interesting. Actually, if you put together various aspects of Pakistan, it comes out that there is a fundamental problem with Pakistan. I've just connected the dots today of what Pakistanis say. Look, all of you do know that I don't rely on anyone else's analysis. If I have to analyze a country, I look at that country and what the people of that country say. And that's where I pick this up and we will go through it. It will be a little theoretical for many of you. It's not going to be extempore talk and big. I'm going to quote from Pakistani authors and Pakistani commentators, and we'll take it from there. Right. Let's get going. I saw this tweet, tweet by Gaurav Sawant. Suddenly I saw what is he said. There's one Sadia Satar, whatever her name is. She says, Brigadier Saab, stop blithering like a Z-grade troll. The world saw your 2025 humiliation at the hands of the Pakistani army. Don't mistake online squeaks for strength. Bangladeshi, you won't be less lethal. So Pakistan has already reached out to Bangladesh mentally. And mentally, they feel they've humiliated India. So Gaurav Sawant replied. Gaurav Sawant is from India Today. He's a great anchor. I like him. And, I've done a few shows with him also. But I said, Gaurav Sawant doing, let me go through it. India bombed the heart of Punjab province, Murdike and Bawalpur, first time ever in response to decades of Pakistan terror. They punched hole in Pakistan air and ground defenses from POJK, Pak, Punjab and Sindh province. Malir Cant was also hit Karachi. Then bombed multiple air bases from Noor Khan to Sargodha to Rahimyar Khan and Jacobad to Bolari. Destroyed multiple Pak fighters and AEW and C aircraft in the sky and in hangars. None of the Pakistani attacks succeeded in hitting Indian VAVPs. Yet Pak claims it has won. A ranked failure of Army Chief promotes himself to Field Marshal. Let me add, he gives himself Hilale Jurrat, which is the highest gallantry award. For what? Sitting in a bunker and getting all this destroyed. Okay. And the Awam, despite all facts in public domain, including bombed out bases, celebrate victory. Seriously mentally challenged nation. All the earlier didn't catch my eye. It was this bit, seriously mentally challenged nation, which caught my eye. Because I was reading something else, listening to something else, and I said, yeah, this is it. Pakistan is a psychologically ill nation. There are problems. There are psychological problems in Pakistan. And that is reflected in the way people behave. So, I wouldn't have done this podcast, but for that thing, what Gaurav Sawant put out, that, seriously mentally challenged nation. That triggered things with me. And of course, this is Hamid Mir. And don't miss the date, 23rd, 12, 25. He talks. What does he talk?
क्या आप जानते हैं कि पाकिस्तान में 8 करोड़ से ज्यादा अफराद जो हैं वो ज़हनी बीमारियों का शिकार हैं। मेंटल हेल्थ पाकिस्तान की तकरीबन 1/3 पॉपुलेशन का एक प्रॉब्लम बन चुकी है।
Just think, here is a major anchor saying that 1/3 of Pakistan has mental health. He says, okay, 1/3 of Pakistan has mental health problems. Okay, चलो।
और टोटल आबादी को सामने रखें और 1/3 जो आबादी है, अगर आप इसको सामने रखें तो बड़े ही खौफनाक अदादोशुमार और हकायक जो हैं वो सामने आते हैं। अब इसमें जो 2.5 करोड़ पाकिस्तानी हैं, उनको डॉक्टर की जरूरत है, यानी कि उनको माहिर नफ्सियात की जरूरत है। आप ये सुनकर हैरान होंगे कि इतनी बड़ी आबादी का मुल्क है पाकिस्तान, इसमें जो टोटल साइकाइट्रिस्ट हैं, माहिरीन नफ्सियात हैं, उनकी तादाद 700 से भी कम है, 700 से भी कम है।
So they have less than 700 people who are psychiatrists for 1/3 of this population. This is what he says. These are figures of Mr. Hamid Mir, who's supposed to be a very, you know, who covers Pakistan and, you know, well heard noise, ye wo in Pakistan, voice in Pakistan. He's also a lot of noise in Pakistan, but he's well followed and all. And he's quite logical in many times. Okay.
तो
Yeah.
कितना बड़ा मसला है। और फिर ये जो ज़हनी बीमारियां हैं, इनका ताल्लुक जो है वो सिर्फ एक दूसरे के साथ जो हमारी रोजमर्रा की जो गुफ्तगू होती है या मेल जोल है या बिहेवियर है, उससे नहीं है। इसका ताल्लुक हमारी पूरी एनवायरनमेंट के साथ है।
So he is very clear. It's just not within each other, it is in the environment. So in Pakistan, if 1/3 of the people are mentally challenged, as he claims, then the environment is also affected. Their dealings with people, everything will be affected. See, he's talking logically so far, and he's not wrong. Okay.
मुआशरे में हम रहते हैं, इस मुआशरे में सिर्फ इंसान एक दूसरे के लिए ज़हनी बीमारियां पैदा नहीं करते, बल्कि जो हमारा माहौल है, हमारी सड़कें हैं, हम जो पानी पीते हैं, हम जो खाना खाते हैं, ये सारे का सारा जो है।
See, he is laughing at himself and the way he's laughed. जो पानी पीते हैं, सड़कें हैं, ये वो, and he laughs. You look at that laughter. So it reflects this country. This country, where it is. So there is a Pakistani leading anchor and a news journalist, and who's, you know, he's even interviewed Osama bin Laden at some point of time and all those fellows. And you know, I remember he shot to fame because he went and interviewed all these Taliban fellows and you know, Al Qaeda guys. He says 1/3 of Pakistan is mentally ill and they don't have doctors, and it is not only this thing, it's reflected in their water, it is reflected in their environment, it's reflected in their roads. Okay, this is not propaganda. Please, I'm not talking propaganda, I'm talking what this man has spoken. Okay, it doesn't stop there. That's the beauty.
क्या आप जानते हैं कि
That's the beauty. 2 days back, I saw this article in Dawn. That is the beauty. Psychology of poverty. Now, I've spoken of psychology. Now, here is this man who's linked psychology to poverty. It's logical, very logical, in fact. We're talking of a psychology of poverty. So, what does he say? These are excerpts from, and this is in Dawn. This is an op-ed in Dawn. And to me, to a large extent, journalism, analysis, and all, from beginning, I've always felt that Dawn is the gold standard in Pakistan. Okay. Of course, these days they are also pro-Pakistan. They would be, if all, it's not like Hindu who will be pro-China. Okay. Dawn has become more pro-Pakistan. That balance has gone out, everything. But still, the best of the guys come and give their opinion in this newspaper. So what does he say? He says in Pakistan, poverty is often discussed in numbers, percentages, GDP ratios, and economic growth rates. Policymakers debate fiscal reforms, economists analyze inflation, trends, and politicians promise relief packages. Yet, what remains largely ignored is the psychology of poverty. The effect chronic deprivation has had on the human mind, behavior, and social fabric. Poverty is not an economic condition but also a psychological experience. one that influences how millions of poor Pakistani think, feel, and act every day. So that manifestation is established. And here is a person who's establishing the link between poverty in Pakistan and the psychology in Pakistan, deprivation, all that. It doesn't end here. Poverty is not merely a lack of money, it is about lack of dignity and agency. That is what is happening in Pakistan. The average Pakistani does not have dignity and agency in his country. This is huge. That is why you see Pakistanis' votes are being chori karod and not now from ever, and they can't talk, they don't have the guts to speak because they are in poverty and they're mentally sick. It distorts one's sense of self, narrows cognitive functions, traps individuals in cycles of stress and short-term survival. What can a man think when he has to survive from a meal to meal? Inflation, unemployment, and debt create an unbearable cognitive load for the poor, largely ignored by policymakers and health professionals alike. It's a very, very serious thing. If and today, as per everyone's reports, nearly 50% of Pakistan is in poverty. And that fellow has said one third of Pakistan is already mentally ill. The other thing is also going that way only. Because there's no improvement. The number of people who are getting into this poverty kitty in Pakistan are more and more and more. You're dealing with a mentally ill nation. That is what I'm trying to get at. This is very serious. This is not propaganda. He says a poor family in rural Sindh or an informal daily wage laborer in Karachi lives on the edge perpetually, asking, can I earn enough to feed my family today? The constant state of worry leads to prolonged psychological arousal, physiological arousal that impairs memory, attention, and emotional regulation. Children raised in such environments often exhibit heightened anxiety and difficulty concentrating in school. Adults experience exhaustion, irritability, and depression. Over time, the brain becomes wired for survival rather than growth. This is a state of a nation. When survival is the priority, planning for the future becomes a luxury. This explains why many development programs fail. They expect long term rational decision making from individuals whose daily lives allow no psychological space for it. They have no choice. Look at it. And this has been accumulating over the past 70 years. Look, Pakistan was quite a okay nation some time back. Slowly started drifting. Slowly started drifting into poverty. See, there's a clear thing. They're now looking, at lost glory. That glory is lost. It's not going to come back. They're not prepared to work for it. And they're mentally disturbed. What will they do? They'll get into terrorism and things like that. What is the opiate for all this? Religion. That is why religion in Pakistan has gone up. And what is this mullah doing? Mullah Munir. He is using the opiate of religion to arouse Pakistan. He is doing nothing to alleviate poverty. Have you seen one talk of his where he says, I will attend to the poor? He only talks of victory and Allah and this and that. And we'll listen to him also. Then he says this in this analysis for Pakistan's young population over 60% under the age of 30. This is important. That's why I brought this. The youth. They have a huge youth bulge. Poverty carries a huge psychological burden. In a society that celebrates success and wealth, poor youth face intense pressure and shame. They are told to work hard yet find few opportunities. This gap between aspiration and reality leads to frustration, anxiety, and turns many youth towards antisocial activities. Which are these antisocial activities? The radical elements are fed from this. The crop from what you reap is what you have sown through poverty. And those poverty people, stricken people, are raised with mental deprivation. And then you have psychological illness, and that psychological illness is being funneled into terrorism and radical groups. See, the explanation is very clear. I'm connecting the dots based on Pakistani thinking, not my own thinking. I'm examining the phenomenon of poverty psychology in Pakistan. Pakistan already faces a mental health crisis with 1 in 4 people estimated to suffer from depression or anxiety, a figure significantly higher among low income populations. Yet, mental health remains a neglected issue in public policy. For the poor, access to mental health is nearly impossible. I'll put it the other way. For the poor, what Pakistan is doing is pushing them more into mental ill health. This country doesn't need many things. There is a fundamental sickness. It will never grow out of that, and we have to deal with it. Why am I doing this vague off tangent? This is a complete off the tangent topic I'm talking of. But if you're going to deal with this topic, if you're going to deal with this country, you should know what this country is about. It's just not their military rulers and their danda which they carry and some weapons they get. You're going to deal with this population and you can't wish them away. They're going to be there. The people of this nation and these people in the state they are in the state of poverty and mental illness are your neighbors. Destiny. Your neighbors are your destiny. How do you deal with them? Of course, what's happening in Bangladesh is absolute mirror. Absolute mirror. The only difference is in Bangladesh, people are pushing themselves back into that old, era of darkness. Okay? Then you'll say, look, elevate poverty. The answer to this is elevate poverty. You should have poverty elevation schemes, isn't it? But here is an analysis again in Dawn by their own guy. He says there is poverty by design in Pakistan. Poverty is not accidental in Pakistan. It is by design. If 45% of people are in poverty today, it is by design. And that's what this chap argues. He says, according to the World Bank's new poverty estimates, 44.7% of Pakistan's population, that is around 110 million, now live in poverty. Half the population is in poverty, 1/3 has mental health, and the connection between poverty and mental health is established by them. You tell me what? The proportion of people living in extreme poverty has risen from 4.9% to 17%, 16.5%. Just think, extreme poverty. They might not have any food to eat. This revision, based on revised threshold, does not take into account the fallout from COVID-19 pandemic, 2022 floods, and recent years' phenomenal spike in cost of living that may have pushed more people into poverty. As per them, these figures are less. The actual figure might be worse. And again, I'm not quoting it. It is not my manufactured thing. Each word I have, if you say this is referencing, yes. You say this is plagiarizing, yes. Both. Lifted. I've lifted their words and I'm presenting it to you. But this is the status, he said. Okay, the status is far worse than what is being reported. Then he goes on to say poverty in Pakistan is not accidental. It is a consequence of deliberate policy choices, neglect, and systemic flaws. In a painful example of fiscal irresponsibility, the government has been increasing salaries, benefits of ministers, legislators, judges, bureaucrats. He is scared to say the armed forces. The armed forces have just taken the cream. The Pakistan army has just taken the cream of the nation and eaten it. And what is left out of after that cream is given to increasing salaries and benefits of ministers, legislators, and bureaucrats and all that. The ordinary Pakistani is not even getting water free of cost today. In a country scrambling for aid and barely managing debt repayment, such extravagance reflects a shocking disregard for the hardships faced by ordinary Pakistanis. When debt is taken, the benefit of the debt goes to the top. The burden of debt goes to the bottom. And that burden of debt is pushing more Pakistanis into poverty. As people go into poverty, they're getting mentally ill. And you're getting a sick nation. Look, just do this integration and the maths is clear. And the science is clear. And the logic is clear. And look at what he says. This is coming from a Pakistani, remember. In contrast, China, India, and many Latin American countries pulled hundreds of millions out of poverty through sustained economic growth, institutional reforms, and targeted support. Okay, China combined broad based economic transformation with targeted assistance to disadvantaged regions and households, starting with agricultural reforms and later developing labor intensive industries. He's quoted China, that's natural. But he's quoting India. Look, why I'm saying this, it's not that the Pakistan is quoting India and we should be happy about it. A chap can turn around and say this is true for India also, isn't it? So I'm talking of India. What that fellow feels. He says India, the world's fastest growing economy, major economy over the last 1 decade, more than doubled its GDP from 2.1 trillion in 2015 to 4.3 trillion in 2025. In 10 years, we have doubled our economy. In the next 10 years, we should double our economy more if you go by this path. 8% growth or say 7.5% growth compounded. You'll double. While investing in basic infrastructure such as toilets, clean water, and electricity to uplift rural communities. This has been completely missing in Pakistan. In fact, it's going the other way. So, why will this country not be classified as mentally ill? It is. It has to be because you see, poverty is by design. There's a link between poverty and mental health, and the mental health is coming out. And as Pakistan grows poorer, it will grow poorer because there's no way it will grow rich. Things will get even worse. Why will it go worse? During the last 3 years, Pakistan experienced negative per capita growth with GDP growth of 0.5%, 2.5%, and 2.6% in this year. Actually, it is about 1 to 1.7% only. It's going down. Then he says stabilization without growth is becoming the country's new normal. What is stabilization? IMF injected stabilization. They give some money, things stabilize, but there's no growth happening. And we can no longer afford it. It only exacerbates unemployment, poverty, and inequality. So, this is the future of Pakistan. Do you think that Pakistan will come out of it? With their propensity to sponsor terror, all that? I don't think so. Unless you think so. Unless you're a Pakistani who is mentally ill to think so. I hope Pakistanis see this. I am very sure that no Pakistani will comment today. If he's commenting, he's a mentally ill guy. In this article, he says we are producing poverty. Okay. This article, he says we are producing, and 2 months back. That's why I said, so you have a the symptom is mental illness which has come out. The link between mental illness and poverty. Then your poverty is by design, and now you are producing poverty. This you connect all this. What is he says? This man has gone back to Musharraf time in producing poverty. Pakistan has been producing poverty for the past 2 decades. The truth is that the neoliberal capitalist binge that Musharraf oversaw was championed by the usual suspects around the globe because it benefited big businesses and investors at home and abroad. Geopolitical wins in the 2000s were such that the dictatorship was celebrated by Western officialdom as an ally on war on terror. The neoliberal binge produced a lot of profits for already fat cats, including Pakistan's own militarized ruling class, while crowding working people into a precarious service sector and accelerated the pillage of nature. So their environment is also short. Seen thus, poverty and inequality, in fact, have been produced. This is the damning thing they're admitting. Poverty and inequality have been produced by the very policies that only some years ago were termed as a success. The pandemic, floods, inflation, and other factors that, according to the World Bank, eroded all major gains in poverty reduction were simply the immediate triggers that showed the true anti-people colors of Pakistani capitalism and its imperial backers. Who drives Pakistani uh, capitalism? Who drives it? Mullah Munir. Have no doubt about it. Mullah Munir and his ilk.
दुनिया के अंदर
देखो what
दामन
he
इस्लामी
talks.
मुल्क है
So he is now talking of Pakistan as the gift of God from Allah type. We heard it. I'm repeating it so that the link is clear. He is today the arrowhead of what has happened before. He's a visible face of what's happened to Pakistan before.
लेकिन अल्लाह ताला ने मुहाफिजीन हरमैन का जो शर्फ है वो पाकिस्तान को दिया कि वल्लफ्त बैन कुलूबिहिम लौ अनफक्त मा फिल अर्द मा अल्लफ बैन कुलूबिहिम वलाकिन अल्लाह अल्लफ बैन रियासत पाकिस्तान और रियासत तैयबा इनका पहले दिन से आपस में एक ताल्लुक.
So Riyasat Pakistan and Riyasat Tayyiba pehle din se taluk hai, and he's gone back, and this is the only country. I mean, we listen to this kind of a thing.
वो 1400 साल पहले जो रियासत बनी थी कलमे की बुनियाद के ऊपर, तो उसके 1300 साल के बाद एक और रियासत बनी, वो भी कलमे की बुनियाद के ऊपर.
So 1300 साल के बाद पाकिस्तान बना है कलमे के बुनियाद के ऊपर, and this is the we are God given, we are from direct descendants. Religion is the opiate of the masses. And here is a military mullah. He's a military mullah who's giving this. Show me one utterance of this guy. Show me one utterance of this guy where he talks of reaching out to the poor of Pakistan. You'll not find it. For that matter, not only he, not or any of the chiefs before, or for that matter, they'll talk of money, they'll talk of Pakistan economy at macro level, they speak of all nonsense, and their defense budgets have been increasing to levels which they don't need. Now these guys, the actual mad guys are these guys. They've created threats for themselves, which they have to defend in the name of God. So the entire kleptocracy of Pakistan, okay, it's not autocracy, the kleptocracy of the military and the elites have produced poverty by design, to result in a mentally ill nation. This is Mohit Pirzada, and he talks of what Pakistan has done. Why Pakistan is this thing. I saw this yesterday.
इस
Hear
वक्त
it.
पहली बात है कि अपनी तमाम तर शर्म को पालाए ताक रखते हुए आपको पहले सच्चे दिल से सिंसेरिटी से खुदा को हाजिर नाजर जान के इस चीज को आपको मानना चाहिए कि इस वक्त दुनिया में सबसे ज्यादा जो ट्रांसनेशनल रिप्रेशन और टेररिज्म एक्सपोर्ट हो रही है वो पाकिस्तान से हो रही है.
So the tail end of all this is repression and terrorism is being exported from Pakistan. Terrorism being exported, repression being within. These are Pakistanis talking.
आपको सच्चे दिल से ये बात माननी चाहिए कि वो अमेरिकन और इंडियन ऑथर, राइटर, कॉलमिस्ट और एक्सपर्ट, खास करके अमेरिकन जो अरसे से ये कह रहे हैं कि पाकिस्तान इज एन एपिसेंटर ऑफ टेरर, वो बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं.
So he says Pakistan, if it's an epicenter of terror, बिल्कुल ठीक कह रहे हैं. Why is this? Why has this society descended into terror? You see the logic. For me,
दुनिया में पाकिस्तान उन चंद रियासतों से है जो दुनिया भर में टेररिज्म को एक्सपोर्ट करते हैं. उसकी वजह यह है कि पाकिस्तान के इदारों की मेंटेलिटी जो है वो दहशत पे मबनी है. उनकी तमाम तर
So पाकिस्तान के इदारों का मेंटेलिटी इज बेस्ड ऑन दहशत. Why will it not be? Because these chaps are coming from the same bottom up of which breeds mental illness.
वो कहानी, नैरेटिव, रिस्पेक्ट, वो सारी की सारी चीज का ताल्लुक जो है वो दहशतगर्दी से. उनके पास कोई और फिलॉसफी नहीं है, रिकॉन्सिलिएशन की एबिलिटी नहीं है, उनके पास कोई विजन नहीं है. द ओनली टूल दे हैव इज टेररिज्म. तो वो टेररिज्म ही करते हैं. पाकिस्तान के अंदर भी टेररिज्म की भी है, पाकिस्तान के एक कोने से दूसरे कोने में दहशतगर्दी की भी है, और अब दुनिया भर में अपनी टेररिज्म को एक्सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं. आप बड़े छोटे आदमी होंगे, आप बड़े मसनूई आदमी होंगे, अगर आपके अंदर इतनी इखलाकी मॉरल जुर्रत नहीं है कि आप जगह जगह खड़े होकर पाकिस्तानियों के सामने, लोगों के सामने बताएं कि पाकिस्तान इज द बिगेस्ट एपिसेंटर ऑफ टेरर, जहां से टेररिज्म एमिनेट करता है और वो पूरी दुनिया को इफेक्ट कर रहा है. और अब वो टेररिज्म बरतानिया, अमेरिका में देखें ना, अमेरिका में लोगों की तस्वीरें खींचते हैं, नादरा से उनके घर वालों के रिकॉर्ड निकालते हैं. अभी चंद दिन पहले एक खातून के भाई को पकड़ लिया, उनके रिश्तेदारों को उठा लेते हैं, उनको वार्न करते हैं, उनसे माफिया मंगवाते हैं. तो वो ट्रांसनेशनल रिप्रेशन एंड ट्रांसनेशनल टेररिज्म है जो मुसलसल पाकिस्तान से हो रही है. लेकिन पाकिस्तानी पाकिस्तान की मोहब्बत में मर जाते हैं, पाकिस्तान का नाम, तो हम पाकिस्तान की बात नहीं करेंगे. जब तक आप अपने इस फियर को और हिचकिचाहट को क्रॉस नहीं करेंगे, इन मसाइल का आप हल नहीं निकाल सकते. सबसे पहले आपको दुनिया को बताना है कि पाकिस्तान के अंदर जो रजीम है वो दहशतगर्द है, और वो दुनिया भर में, बरतानिया में, अमेरिका के अंदर, कनाडा के अंदर दहशतगर्दी करने की कोशिश कर रहा है.
So this is it. You see the cycle. Why terrorism? Why power? Because of that, they're producing terrorism, producing poverty. And you know, this
इस
is
वक्त पहली
the tailpiece of the whole story. Is this going to change? It's not going to change. Why? Let me give you one example, latest example. You would have heard that PIA has been privatized. What did they do to privatize PIA? Privatizing PIA was not a joke. It had huge debts. So they broke PIA into two pieces, two corporations. The entire debt they put into a corporation called Holdco. And that has been taken on by the government. So the government has, which is already indebted, has to take on all the debt of PIA. The assets, the planes and everything has been put, which is the profitable part of PIA, which can generate profit. The debt has been taken out because PIA can't repay debt. So the profitable part of the PIA has been broken out and put on sale. So who bid for it? Many people bid for it. Okay. But there's a construction company called Habib or something which has taken it, which has been given the contract. So the next day, the thing comes out. Fauji Foundation. Fauji Foundation is a partner in that deal, bid. So what has happened ultimately is Pakistan International Airline, okay, has been broken into two. The debts are still with the Pakistan government. The profit-oriented part is sold to a construction company, which next day says the Forge is part of it, the mill bus. So effectively, Pakistan Army has taken over the PIA, the profitable part of the PIA, for itself. And the debt part is gone to the nation. So the debt part has gone to the nation, already an impoverished nation. It will only produce more poverty. And the whole cycle which I've said. The military is now owns the airline also. The military now owns the airline also. So you can imagine what's happening in Pakistan. Slowly, all profitable businesses will go to, the military business empire of Pakistan, and they don't need defense budget after that. So, yeah, so please understand this entire connection. Why have I said all this? Does it matter us? It doesn't. It matters us because you know how things are happening in Pakistan. Then you have to deal with them accordingly. You have to deal with them accordingly. Are we dealing with them accordingly? Might be, might not be, but is there a scope to deal with them better? Definitely. That's the point I'm making today. I do hope this is all I have for today. It's a short one because a little later I have to talk with John Helmer. We're having a thing in an hour. So I thought I'll keep it short today. And evening, do join us. I'm going to speak with a lot of things with Sanjay Dikshit and Rajiv Narayanan. Both. In fact, I'll also be there on Ghana Shot and Jaipur Dialogues. I'd like request all of you to join. So we'll see how to take it forward. But look at all this and think what kind of a nation we have to deal with, what kind of a people we have to deal with. And this is not running away. Is there a solution for us as to how you handle all these fellows? We'll have to think out of our box. Is war an option with Pakistan? It is not. But what do you do then? War is not an option for Pakistan, not because you can defeat Pakistan. You can defeat Pakistan. What is it? What happens to you? That's the more interesting thing. You just think, what is the biggest outcome of Op Sindoor? That you finish whatever you wanted to do in 4 days, good, bad, or ugly, and after that you have progressed. What has happened to Pakistan? They've gone back. So, this is where we are. We are actually living in complex times. And these complex times are not about war and conflict and all. This is about human problems. And those human problems are manifest in Pakistan. And we're going to get Bangladesh going towards that. Luckily for us in our neighborhood, Nepal is righted itself on its own. We'll see what happens because there are going to be elections and all that. I had some interaction with my boys who live in this neighborhood, who keep going to Nepal and coming back. They have a hope. Bhutan is okay. Sri Lanka and Maldives have righted themselves. We'll talk of others. Maybe before the year ends, we'll take a stock of what's happening in our neighborhood. Right? So this is what I have had to say. I'll take on a few questions. And I'd like to thank all of you who joined in. Please, if you like the button, if you like this podcast, press the like button. Join Gunner Shot as members. Also subscribe to Gunner Shot and press that bell icon. Right. Well, let's get going with meeting people. Shruti Chandak, namaskar. Thanks a lot for joining in. Ishan Datta, good morning. Ladybird Harug, also good morning. Ramki Ramkrishnan, Ramkiram, yeah. Uh, Krishnan, good morning. Satish, all previous wars fought by India were swift and decisive. India will never have a Ukraine-like situation with Pak. So why is that thought in your our minds now vis-a-vis Pak? Your thoughts? No, we don't have to get involved with Pakistan like a Ukraine kind of situation at all. We should do surgical things. That's why we got out. We shouldn't get involved with them beyond a point. That's the point. Because that harm us. See what harm it's done to Russia. Yeah, yesterday's Three Good General was fantastic and riveting. I guess so. It was something we all converged. Interesting thing is we didn't have a word with each other. We just converged with our ideas. That's it. Good morning, General. Nap discussion. Interesting title. Thank you. How can India's opposition only do anti-national things? It has been a whole of nation approach towards both. Look, India's opposition, unfortunately, today is not thinking on the right direction. Right? It's a pity because you look at the Congress party. I still feel Congress party. We need the Congress party. India needs the Congress party. Without that, will not be a good democracy because it's got all India presence, everything. And remember, but for the Congress party and the stalwarts of the Congress party of that day, we wouldn't be what we are today. After all, it was Congress party which forced the princely states to join India. Why forget about the action against Hyderabad or Goa? For that matter, what action we took against J&K? How we have consolidated the Northeast? Right? How we broke Pakistan? It's all under Congress. We need the Congress party. Okay, as much as we needed BJP at one point of time, right? So today BJP is in power, fine, it's doing okay. It might have problems, that's okay. I'm okay. Congress is in opposition, I'm okay with that also, but we need it. Unfortunately, their leadership is not, I don't know, for whatever reason. I don't want to venture. I know the problems, I can understand the psychology, everything, but they're not on the right line. That's my only thing with the Congress party. It's a sad thing that the opposition led by the Congress party is not viewing things in the right direction. I have no problems when they criticize anyone. That's okay. That's politics. But fundamentals, they're going astray. It saddens me, but I'm sure all of us will answer that. If they go along this, no one will vote for them. As simple as that. That's the thing. They have to do their own course correction. Yeah, Vasu Iyengar, good morning. And Siddharth, good morning. Yeah, Sir Munir pledged Pakistan's technological advancements to Libya, called for Muslim nations to unite, build. Yeah, that's part of. He's a mad guy, yeah, the way I look at it. Good morning, General. I hope I do not bother you. I try to use satire and truth and satire. That's okay. I have no problem. Yeah, the Hindu is a great newspaper. I love their articles. I also used to love their articles. Unfortunately, today they're communist. They are, unfortunately, and Hindu is more, vowed towards they support the Communist Party of China. That's my problem with the Hindu. Poverty is a mindset, lack of human dignity, dangerous. I watched the movie long time back, Charlie Wilson's, where Tom Hanks and Om Puri was in a role. Literally a very good movie, wherein how Pakistanis extorted monies. Yeah, that's how it is. I'm amazed by Hamid Mir's statement, but I'm surprised that he took his data out when Hamid took. Well, that's part of the That's how Pakistan is mentally. Uh, all religious is an enterprise and it's getting old. Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, Vinay, good morning. Thanks a lot. They are like this even in UK. They aren't poor there. Yeah, the only difference is that is after all the poor people have gone there. The mentally sick have gone there, isn't it? So that mental sickness it doesn't get eradicated just because you give a mad guy some money, he'll not behave normally after that, isn't it? He'll behave even worse. That's the thing. Hmm. Yeah, it's a great topic of greater use to fight the cognitive gray zone warfare. I completely agree with you. Namaskaram, General Garu, and others. Thanks a lot. If the army embezzled the money, then how on earth do you expect Pakistan to improve? It'll never. That's where I'm proud of my army. And not army, armed forces. We've helped the nation grow. Maybe someday I'll talk to you about how the armed forces have held this nation together and helped it grow, which probably is quite misunderstood. And I'll put historical things in context to make you understand. I'll do that one of these days. Today's thumbnail is very accurate and it is based on a WHO report. The WHO report reported that 20% of the population suffers from schizophrenia due to marriages between cousins. Yeah, they have this problem. Yesterday's three good generals was mind blowing, sir. Please, folks, please watch that in case you missed it. It's a keeper of a session. Yeah, it is. Well, it sounds like a typical European feudal society. Yeah. Mental health of the nation is the reflection of its people. They believe only in increasing population. That's the only sphere they excel in. Yeah. How will China take Turks forces backdoor entry? We'll talk of that later. For argument's sake, let's ignore Pakistan or reputed international observers such as Alan Wans, even prominent India. यार बड़े चूतिए हो यार तुम रिजवान हुसैन पागल हो you cannot change. Okay, you be there only where you are. You said once that the Tibet problem will resolve in 5 years, but did not explain further about it. I'll do that in time because it's all connected with what's happening in China. 5 to 6 years. That's the horizon. The landlord system still exists, and the elite group of this foolish country have large size portion of its land and resources. Thanks to our former prime minister, abolished the landlord system. Yeah, I agree. In the eyes of Pakistan, it is not defeated until it has lost its territory. Other factors do not matter, even if their military is destroyed. Yeah, that's again the mindset. It's a defeated nation because it's defeated itself. Poverty industry of Pakistanis comes into thousands of crores of rupees when they go abroad in Hajj. Yeah, they are beggars. I've done a show where begging is a profession in Pakistan. Okay. Yesterday, day before only, I spoke where one of their leading economists have said that in Karachi today, middle class people are going out and begging. It's a bad scene, bad scene. Hmm. India needs a ruthless leadership, a leadership that has guts, that doesn't fear sanctions about global image. We can cool down after 5 years of ruthless behavior. We need policy. I don't think so. We are okay. Don't fall for extremes. We are a nation which of different varieties. We are a nation where one size will not fit all. Will not. What you think is good for you will not be good even for your neighbor. If India has very strong things. You guys have not lived through emergency. We had a very ruthless lady who was our prime minister. I respect her hell of a lot. And the way she went about emergency, is what you people are talking of. And it was disastrous for us. We had that experience, right? We don't want that. Yeah, we could do with discipline, but discipline is something which comes from people. People have to be disciplined. Comes from within. Terror, poverty, mental health, the great mamba eating Pakistan. Yeah, completely. Yeah, this also contributes. 63% of marriages is first cousin marriage, which creates a lot of medical issues. I agree with you. Hmm. Good morning from Armenia. Thanks a lot. Um, why are there not covert operations toward Fauji funding? You can't. I'm sure someone is doing something, but I'm not concentrated on that part. Today's topic took me by surprise. Well, I was wondering how today's top podcast will go. Well, I know you are a good opener, but today you put a fantastic googly. Thanks for an interesting written. Thanks a lot. Hmm. Yeah, Pakistanis in support of Azeri Turks used to write blood-chilling comments against Armenians. I'm aware that McNewn. That's part of the thinking of Pakistan, which is mentally ill. Yeah. Zoran Mamdani could help. That's a nice one. Yeah. Senthil says, good day to you. Same to you. As you've been saying, General, if conditions in POJK are as bad, it should be straightforward to reach out to them, and the rest of Pakistan will then follow. You have to hit where you have to, not hit. You have to reach out and taking the seams apart. If people living in abject poverty have grown in numbers, why is there no unrest on street? Is it psychological repression? Yes. Defeated nation, defeated people, ruled by a kleptocratic elite, including the army. Too brash in words, his statement in previous video on China does not know how to hold anything even in their own. Yeah. Yeah, that's okay. Thanks for exposing Pakistan's sickness. We are dealing with a sick state. Asim Munir calls himself a deceiver. We think of his word deceiver in negative terms. But just for information, these are verses in Quran where Allah is the best of deceivers. Okay. Hmm. The idea of hate India education amongst Pakistan kids that they get fame from madrasas in schools. We must also defeat, spread our education values in ethos. Hope Parks learn, so it will not learn because they're mentally defect. Why is it that India doesn't want to call out Islamic terrorism openly? There's no point. You can keep calling out? See, I believe in one thing. I can call out Pakistan as Islamic terror, Bangladesh is Islam. What does it affect? Nothing. So you have to do. I believe in action. You have to do action. How that action is to be calibrated. That's the thing. Yeah. Good morning, Ankit. And yeah, good. General mentioned the new Northeast in his previous video, and today we are seeing Guwahati airport, which looks more luxurious than airports in developed countries. This is the new India. Yeah, the last time I went to Guwahati was about 3 months back. Mind you, not 3 months back, but maybe about 5, 6 months back. I went to Shillong for a talk. I'm forgetting. But this year, right? Let me tell you, I've lived in those parts. I've had 3 postings there. The number of times I've gone in and out of Guwahati was I've forgotten. But this time when I went, I couldn't recognize Guwahati. India is changing at pace, which we have to understand. And I'll talk of it. Right. Okay. So this, how will deployment of troops in Gaza affect its? Oh, hell of a lot. Let's see how it pans out. We'll see how it pans off, because they're going to be internal forces which will start acting on their politics. We'll see. You see, the TLP was dead against all this. They've been massacred. But the people within are not. Will that trigger something? Is to be seen. But let's see. Okay. Okay. With this, thanks a lot for joining in. Join in later in the evening. 7 o'clock is what we're going to do with Sanjay Dikshit and General Rajiv Narayanan. Till then, have a great day and Jai Hind to all of you.